Get out of my head, Dan Slott. Actually, it makes total sense if you're an egomaniac being propped up by developmentally arrested men living vicariously through your delusions of grandeur. Reality is what you make it. All else is fake news. Preach, brother Kwanzer. Oh, he's got a reply. I wonder what someone said to him. Maybe offensive content. I hope so. Octopod Blue says, dude, you just had a number 1 issue that sold 1,500 copies. Shut the F up. You're what's killing retailers. Interesting, Octopod Blue. This is in response to Mr. Dan Slott. Got a lot... What's a good Dan Slott voice? Got a lot of concerned accounts explaining to me how putting out 1 comic a year, charging $25 to $50 per issue, getting tens of thousands of backers to buy multiple copies, while using a model that circumvents the retailer, is somehow the best thing for the comic book industry. I don't remember. Is Dan Slott the really fat one, or is that... I think that's Cebulski. I don't know how fat Dan Slott is. Sometimes they get the fat voice. Let's see. Gets a couple of people with the knee pads out just kissing his ass as hard as they can. Their response is, why are they dunking on Comicsgate so hard? If they don't like the Comicsgate books, just don't buy them. Comicsgate is a tiny fraction of the comics community. It's, what is it, less than 1% of the billions and billions that comic books made? It made a lot of money. Therefore, the Transformer movies also made a lot of money. Hey, one of the Transformer movies was fun. Right? Maybe they were all fun. I mean, they're made for the Chinese audience, so they had to be simple. I mean, because the English language didn't translate. They just want to see shiny explosions on the screen. The easiest way to turn that around on them is to say, well, Captain Marvel made $1 billion. Are you saying that makes it good? That's interesting. I haven't seen someone from their side attack Captain Marvel yet. Or The Last Jedi. Dun dun. Oh, Xavier. That's not going to go over well. But they've already gotten The Last Jedi argument pre-prepared. Hey, dude, if you haven't seen The Last Jedi, it's really bad. It made The Force Awakens look good in comparison. It would have made much more money if it wasn't for all the SJW BS they crammed down our throats. Where is the lie? Yes, of course it would have made more money if it wasn't for the Admiral Gender Studies. Nobody wants to see that. The fans were so ticked about The Last Jedi, they turned Solo into a flop. Again, where's the lie? You're saying these things sarcastically as if they're not true, but they are true. That Shania Twain, those things are true. The Last Jedi was a bad movie. It was so bad that it hurt Solo, which wasn't as bad as people... It flopped. It lost money. And so I enjoyed Solo as well. It still made $400 million in theaters. Yeah, that's losing money. That's a loss. It was supposed to make billions. And it costs, I don't know what it cost to make. Probably the original cost was probably $200 to $300 million. And then it had reshoots, so it was probably cost $400 million. Say it cost $300 to $400 million. But then you figure advertising on top of that, you're already at $500 million. But they easily expected it to gross $1 billion plus. And it should have. It wasn't a bad movie. It wasn't great, but it wasn't as bad as The Last Jedi. I mean, the guy who played Han Solo was just this little midget twerp. And the real Han Solo has a certain presence that you needed a more physically imposing actor to do. Physical stores can stock these books, but Mark Waid will call the stores and claim that these creators are Nazis and sue the creators, so they are adapting to an uneven playing field. Again, where's the lie? But he's so happy. This is by Ethan Van Sciver. Only an SJW think $25 is going to bankrupt a customer. You're all too good to be true. Cyberfrog blood honey bitches. All right, it's late, but it's coming out. Here's the thing. Here's how bad mainstream comics are at Marvel and DC, Image, and the rest, whatever the companies that aren't going out of business. See Mags Visaggio's latest book. People are willing to pay $25 plus shipping for Comicsgate books. That's how bad Marvel is. That should tell you everything you need to know. What, you're mad because the books aren't stacked perfectly well? They don't look damaged. They look like there's slight wavering. Okay, if you get a wavered book, you put it between two hardcovers for a night. You're saying the book ended up looking like crap. You don't have the book in front of you unless you ordered it. You didn't order it. Why would the book ended up looking like crap? I've seen it. It looks fantastic. To say something looks bad when you clearly don't have it in front of you, you're just being petty. It just weakens your argument. Please be about Cyberfrog. Please be about Cyberfrog. Nope. Robotoad. Ugh, you're so soy. Just stop. Stop. The only ones hurting the retailers are DC and Marvel, continuing to produce garbage comics relaunching failed books over and over, thinking things will change when it's the same trash. And then comic shops to have to buy your garbage comics that people are not buying. Again, where is the lie? These are true statements. They're not selling. And they do relaunch books that don't sell. There's no lie here. So you can't attack his argument. You just laugh at him, but you haven't refuted him. There's no lie there. Yeah, no one is... obviously, you're talking about Cyberfrog and Jawbreakers and Iron Sights and Mike Miller's Shark books and John Malin's Werewolf Milk books. Well, that sounds terrible. Yikes, my guy. Just yikes. I looked at this guy. The constantly shifting narrative about why said project is delayed is just as pathetic as the people who funded it buying into all the BS its creators slings. By Chuck Metcalf, 83. Marvel Comics enthusiast, hard-boiled crime reader, old man afraid of Tinder. I think Tinder's a dating site. Holy shit. You didn't even get rid of the reflections on your glasses. Sweet tap dancing Christ. Okay. I won't say it, but really, you shouldn't post a photograph if you're like that. I'm just saying. Some defenders pop in here. They aren't single issues. They're full-on graphic novels, which usually run close to the $25 mark. Yeah, of course, that's the thing that Dan Slott is forgetting. This other guy calls them grifters and hucksters. How are they grifters and hucksters when they sell you the product they promised to sell you for the agreed-upon price? They had a contract, an agreed-upon exchange of goods and services with the terms clearly articulated. You ordered Cyberfrog, you got Cyberfrog. You ordered Iron Sights, you got Iron Sights. Dan, they're going to save comic stores by not putting the product in stores and thus incentivizing people to go there. Azrael says they tried, then Mark Waid decided to engage in defamation and tortious interference to keep jawbreakers out of comic book stores, and Antarctic Press, which is operating in the red, from profiting off of it. He's currently being sued in federal court over it. Those are all true statements, so I don't know why Steve Areno is saying these aren't true statements. He is being sued in federal court. Mark Waid is being sued by Richard Meyer in federal court using Texas law, hopefully. You can watch Mark Waid's deposition on Nick Rekieta's old streams, and they're probably on Kiwi Farms too. And the causes of action were defamation and tortious interference. Or, interference with prospective business relations, whatever they call it in Texas. Probably tortious interference. Those are true statements. They haven't been adjudicated yet, so you don't know if the tortious interference is going to rule in his favor. They might settle out of court. Then Kwanzer. Oh, someone gave him another comment. Got two comments. And they're both under offensive. Fancy Lord Dainty Hooves says, "Get Slott's schlong out of your mouth, you thirsty douchebag." That comment, 5 minutes old, will probably be removed by Twitter. So maybe I'll read it again. Get Slott's schlong out of your mouth, you thirsty douchebag. Dude, you just had a #1 issue that sold 1,500 copies. Shut the fuck up. You're what's killing retailers. That was by Octopod Blue and by Squad Member 1984, My New Heroes. Has 2 horses humping under a rainbow flag. Could you elaborate on what would be the best thing for the comic book industry? I'd love to see more pros take a real stance on industry issues rather than slinging high school level misinformative subtweets. No response, 3 hours old. No, of course they're not going to take a stand because they can't. Even if they wanted to say what was going on, they can't say what's going on. They're just not allowed to. And he has to re-ask the question because it ain't going to happen. And they don't want to take a stand. They really do believe the stuff they're selling. Most of them. Some people are just scared, like that guy who made that tweet about, I was looking for bias against conservatives or right-of-center people, and I looked for 24 hours and I couldn't find it. I made a couple of videos on him. Are they concerned that not enough will fall for the grift? Azrael, High Lord Azrael, you should probably sub to him if you want some humorous content. For it to be a grift, wouldn't it never have to materialize? Because it sure looks like it's being delivered on. You might want to ask Richard Pace and B. Claymore where their books are. They're a couple of years late. Boom. I don't know there, buddy. Paying $35 plus for a digest-sized book that would retail for $5, I call that a grift. But it's what do you twats insist on calling that digest size? It's a full-length graphic novel, and no, it would certainly not retail for $5. It's dimensions of the digital size? You have to guess? What are you talking about? You don't have the book in front of you. You didn't order it. You don't know how many pages it is. You don't know even what it's about because you didn't order it. It's a graphic novel. It wouldn't sell for $5. And here's another thing. It's probably also very collectible because it's by Ethan Van Sciver. Ethan Van Sciver, Mike Miller, John Malin, they all have collector's value because they've been in the industry a while. Look at eBay. See what Comicsgate books are selling for. This guy said 3 hours ago, last time they did that, Mark Waid bullied the publisher into breaking the contract, resulting in a lawsuit and stupidity. No response to him. Odd. Wait, but literally 99% of the backers of those overpriced, late, crowdfunded comics are bigoted Nazis who would never bought a comic book in a retail store. How do the existence of these books hurt retailers? Most of the late crowdfunded books are by SJW at Marvel and DC and Image and the rest. Those are the comic books that are like 5 years late. And let me tell you, if a book is 5 years late, it's just not coming out. B. Claymore and the other guys, Big Hawaiian Dick. It's reasonable to assume they just took the money and ran. You're not going to get these books if they're five years late. And really, if a book is late beyond a certain reasonable period of time, whatever the customs and habits of the industry are, then you could say that the book, they have breached their contract. Because implied in every contract, even if the terms aren't written, is a reasonable time to produce the content. And you would look to the customs of the industry. And the comic book industry, books are late. Crowdfunded books are late, but a year is about the limit. And after that, you'd have a right to demand your money back. So the Big Hawaiian Dick and a bunch of these other, who's the guy who can't draw feet, the Deadpool guy, those books, if they're several years late, they're probably just not gonna happen. They like to argue that they aren't flooding retailers with tons of unsellable copies. As a retailer, I order what I know I can sell, and anytime a company sends us extra copies, they're free to us. So, we make more profit. That was by Lucas Harbolt. Interesting. I wonder if anyone will say the obvious. Azrael, my good friend Lord High Azrael, says, except for the extra shipping charge and not being able to sell the comics you initially ordered. But please tell us how sites like these are a sign of a healthy industry. Captain Marvel, which I think I've reviewed every Captain Marvel. Rhea Williams, Ironheart, I think I've reviewed those. The Soy Avengers, I don't know what that one is. Yeah, obviously you're showing a dozen each of these issues on the shelves because they're not moving. Lucas says, I'll reiterate, you order what you know you can sell. Any extra should be a plus. I would have killed to have that stack of Captain Marvel or Return of Wolverine. I sold out of those books on day one. Why are you lying to us? You sold out of Captain Marvel books. How many did you order? 10? Not enough, because I kept selling out, but you didn't tell us. You didn't answer them. How many books did you order? Because, listen, you can go to Comic-Con and look up the sales numbers. They're not doing that well. You mean after they went to the bargain bin, right? Nope, sold them all for cover price. I know my customers. I know my market. It's very rare I get stuck with books. Then you probably ordered 3 books, which means they shipped you 6 books. Okay, so maybe you're able to sell 6. Okay. Oh, sure, all successful stores have 90% off sales on the bargain bin for one day only, and then the next day and the next day, half off, 15% off, a pound of comics for $1, everything 15 cents. That's a way to make the big bucks. Lucas says, actually, that's our business. Very successful. That's made our business very successful. We now have 3 stores because of promotion like that. We're in the business of moving comics, and that involves rotating out back issues several times a year. You effing scrub. Press F to doubt. Okay, you know what? Maybe he's the rare retailer that is in an area where there's like a bunch of college lesbians who buy Squirrel Girl and Captain Marvel. Fair enough. Maybe he's not lying. Maybe he's the one exception to the rule. But you can go to Comic-Con and look at these woke books, and they're not selling. Not Mo Diggity 42. Sorry, dude, until this nonsense with personal politics dies down. As soon as the people in the entire industry decide to start writing decent stories again, this is how it's going to be. Get better. Give us a reason to buy from the industry again. And then I see this response from this guy. It doesn't make any sense. Comicsgate is always worth a laugh at their complete lack of understanding how business really works. Listen, Comicsgate is a tiny percentage of the industry. They are killing it. They are selling books with no positive publicity at all. The only advertisement they get is by other Comicsgaters. From small channels like this one to the biggest of channels, but it's all on YouTube, and it's all a very limited crowd of Comicsgate books and Comicsgate supporters. The woke media, which is all left-wing, alt-left media, CBR and Bleeding Cool, they're not giving Comicsgate books as any publicity whatsoever. They're doing it. Comicsgate people are doing it all on their own. How is putting out books by creators like Max Visaggio, which only ever succeed at losing money for both the publishers that make her books as well as the comic stores that order her books, good for the industry? EVS made a book people wanted, and they bought it. That's healthy. Somebody made bank. So, by Darren Dare. Vagrant Queen. I don't think Vagrant Queen... I reviewed that one. It was not very good. Supposedly, Max Visaggio is getting an Amazon or Netflix show out of it. So, who knows? It was a ripoff of Star Wars. And I mean, very much a ripoff of Star Wars. It's because your industry is failing, Dan Slott. You and a lot of your creator friends are now paying the price for forcing your left-wing politics into the medium. Again, where's the lie? Nobody's responding to this, because what are you going to say? They're just going to put a meme of somebody laughing like, oh, that's what you think. But it's the truth. The industry is dying. You were completely right, slotty old chap. The best thing for the comic book industry is for hacks like you to write self-indulgent crap that nobody wants to read and force comic book stores to go bankrupt because of it, all the while insulting your customers on a daily basis. Well, you're just going to get blocked. All these people do is they'll just block you. And, again, where's the lie? He made a great point. Well, it is pros like Wade. If pros like Wade didn't interfere with books coming out, then all these stores would have sold them, and that would have helped the industry. Pros like you keep these books from coming out, so they're forced to sell directly to customers, hence Comicsgate. Yeah, again, where's the lie? Anyway, yeah, these are graphic novels. They're not comic books. I've had 3 stores closed because they can't sell the woke SJW books. Okay, more people are coming back. I guess they must have saw you boys' video. You mean the comics Mark Waid allegedly tortuously interfered with? Cool story, bro. I guess he doesn't want to get sued. More Mark Waid. Mark Waid is in court for it right now, and they're selling graphic novels, not single-issue comics, you douchebags. These people are such hacks. I mean, the Dan Slotts and the Kwanzers, just the douchiest douchebags to ever douche a vagina. Anyway, you can go to Twitter. Don't harass Mr. Dan Slott, but Twitter's an open forum. You can let him know if you agree with him or if you disagree with him. I'm sure he wants to hear your opinion. You're a valued customer, a valued potential customer, so let him know. Give him some feedback. And give me some feedback, too. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys all next episode.